Is ME or chronic fatigue syndrome temporary, or does it last forever? Here's what you need to know. I remember the moment when I was diagnosed myself with ME chronic fatigue syndrome. The first question I asked my doctor, I was 16 years old at the time, was how long will it last? So if that's the question you're asking, I'm not surprised. It's the question I wanted to know the answer to as well. The answer I was given was it could take 6 or even 12 months. When you're 16 years old, 6 to 12 months feels like a lifetime. For me, it took me 7 years to recover. The first 2 years waiting for someone else to find the answers, and then 5 years on a very focused, proactive healing journey. Now, the good news is, over the last 20 plus years, running one of the world's leading clinics specializing in fatigue-related conditions, I've seen time and time again, people decoding their fatigue, figuring out what's wrong, and then being able to map and follow their pathway to recovery. Before recording this video, I had a bit of a look at some of the latest research, and the latest research is not very encouraging. A study published in Diagnostics back in 2022 found only 8.3% of people diagnosed with ME chronic fatigue recover, and about 4.8% will have some kind of sustainable improvement. What I will say is I think there's a very clear reason why those numbers are not very inspiring. It's because the diagnosis of ME or chronic fatigue is not a diagnosis of what's actually not functioning as it should in your body. It is a diagnosis for a set of symptoms. It is a label for the symptoms, not clarity on what is causing the symptoms. And to be able to map an effective journey towards recovery, we first need to decode what is wrong, why is it wrong, and what are we going to do about it. Here at the Optimum Health Clinic, we have spent the last 20 plus years developing maps, protocols, frameworks to decode and understand fatigue-related conditions. Do check out many of the other videos here on our channel. What I think is also important to say in the context of this video is that when we do have clarity, when we can figure out that, for example, someone is in this particular subgroup, they're at this stage of the recovery process, then we can start to target intervention to address them. We had a landmark study published in 2012 in the British medical journal Open that found statistically significant improvement at 3 months using the Optimum Health Clinic approach. Something that is also interesting, though, in that research study that I mentioned was a reconfirmation of a finding that's been found many times previously, which is that one of the best predictors of long-term prognosis is early diagnosis. I think one of the reasons why that's the case is when we have a diagnosis, we're more likely to actually listen to our body. I think the cases that have the poorest prognosis are when people are encouraged just to push through, and then the fatigue becomes a deeper and a more complex problem. If we can learn to get deep rest, we can listen to our body, we can address the underlying imbalances and issues, our body does have a natural capacity to heal. Just like if you cut your skin or you break your bone, there's not a particular drug or intervention that fixes that. You may take something to stop getting infection, something to help manage pain, but our body heals. People do and can recover from fatigue-related conditions. Check out the many recovery stories here on our YouTube channel. But we have to first decode what's wrong and map that pathway towards healing. To explore how the Optimum Health Clinic approach may be able to help you on your journey, do visit theoptimumhealthclinic.com and book a free discovery call with one of our practitioner team. I hope that's been helpful. Thank you for watching.